vision is like a magnet. When people see it, they want to gravitate it to it. That's why the television commercials show you the new card. That's why Apple shows you the iPad. That's why they always show you visuals, because once you see it, you want to begin to gravitate to that. But a compelling vision should actually result in leaving, next piece here, Curtis, it should actually leave not only an imprint on your mind, it needs to leave an imprint on your heart. There's another subtitle here, Curtis. An imprint on your heart, not just on your mind. See, I want something that even after the PowerPoint is slipped off the pages, that they'll begin to carry it in their heart. When I began to cast that vision for Feeding 5,000 and having boys and girls come on campus and for the first time get a brand new backpack to start school with and have brand new school resources to start school with, even after the sermon was over and the PowerPoint was done, people had carried that out in their spirit and they began to rally to that cause. That's what we have to do. We have to cast vision in such a way that it not only imprints the mind, but it imprints the heart. It grabs the emotions and the passions of the heart, and people can't imagine not being a part of it. This past year, in the economic downturn that everybody seemed to experience, we were trying to navigate our way through. We saw some good things happen this past year, but we were still being cautiously optimistic as we moved through the year. And when it came up towards the summer, we asked ourselves the question, do we want to invest this year in Feeding 5,000, or do we just want to skip a year? Everybody will surely understand. But there was such an overwhelming response from our leaders and our people that we brought together to ask this question to. They said these words: we can't imagine going through this summer without doing Feeding 5,000. It had now become more than a mental decision. It had become a heart commitment. They couldn't see themselves going forward without being a part of that process. Number 4, we have to develop a plan to fulfill the vision. There are 3 steps in developing this plan that I like to point out. And first of all, it must be an intentional plan. Secondly, it must be a strategic plan. And thirdly, it must be a long-term plan. Intentionality. What we've discovered is many ministries lack intentionality. They just kind of let things happen, and most people kind of fall into good things rather than actually having an intentionality towards them. What I've discovered between smaller churches and large churches is this: smaller churches naturally do fellowship and relationships. That's a very natural thing. That family feeling is a very natural piece for them. Large churches don't do that very well, so they have to be more intentional. So they have to start small groups and ministry events that will create fellowship opportunities. The reverse is true of a small church when it comes to evangelism. Large churches do evangelism naturally. They're so excited about what their church is doing. They're inviting people every week. Visitor flow is healthy. But in a smaller church, smaller churches have to be more intentional about evangelism. So what we have to do is we have to find out what it is we need to accomplish and figure out a way to be intentional about it. Secondly, we have to be strategic. What I've discovered in my research is that 90% of the pastors in pulpits today are tactical thinkers, not strategic thinkers. Tactical, not strategic. What's the difference? Tactical thinkers right now are thinking about tomorrow. And they're saying, well, I got to make sure my sermon's ready, my PowerPoint's ready, the songs are ready. They're thinking about everything that has to be done for tomorrow. And then after tomorrow, they'll start thinking about Wednesday, and after Wednesday, they'll start thinking about Sunday. That's a tactical thinker. They're thinking one step at a time. A strategic thinker, though, is asking this question: what am I going to preach tomorrow in my church that is going to help me get to where I need to be a year from now in this ministry? Because every week what I'm preaching is going to take me a step closer to where I'm trying to get a year from now. Now, I said 90% of the pastors are tactical thinkers and only 10% are strategic thinkers. And that correlates with the fact that only 10% of the churches in America are actually growing today, and in fact are typically led by strategic thinking pastors. There has to be a long-term plan. Too many people try to accomplish too much in too short of a time. And when it doesn't come to pass, they get disappointed and frustrated, and they bail out on their vision. So we need to have some short-term goals, but a long-term vision, and begin to give ourselves benchmarks of achievement along the way. Lastly, number 5, we have to secure the proper resources and partnerships necessary to fulfill the vision. Not only did I share my story with you today about the No Name Ranch, but I want to tell you that in every area of your life, if you're going to see your vision come to pass, you have to begin to create some of those opportunities that are going to allow that vision to be fulfilled. You have to begin to align yourself. That's why I like aligning myself with Building God's Way, from design to construction. That's why pastors may call for a consultation with Positioning Your Church, because they need some partnerships that can help them achieve their resources and their objectives. So today I want to encourage you while you're here, even though we're talking about leadership and church health, we're getting ready to talk about some design and some construction issues. I believe that there's something here for everybody, but you need strategic partners and you need strategic resources to help you to achieve your objective.